call this regular meeting of Grand Forks City Council to order. We have a little different agenda this evening. We're going to begin with the annual report and presentation, and then we're going to go into the primary committee and do our business in that category, and then back into the regular meeting after that. So the first item of business is the corporate officer's report, the annual report. And we have some management staff here to do the presentation.
No, we're not doing the presentation on the annual report.
You're not?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. No, sorry. We're doing a presentation on just the midterm review.
Midterm review.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we were doing the annual report too. Well, we can have questions
Yes.
and submissions from the public.
Yeah. We can certainly do one in July.
All right, so the annual report is in your handout if you picked one up at the door. It's also at the counter downstairs. I would entertain any questions on the annual report. Ooh. Sure you don't want to make a presentation? I guess everything's going really well. Can I have a motion to accept the annual report? Councillor Doherty, Councillor Smith. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, and the next is a motion to recess into the primary committee meeting. A motion to recess.
So moved.
Councillor Wires, Councillor Croft. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And the first item of business is the primary committee meeting agenda. Can I have a motion to adopt the primary committee meeting agenda? Councillor Smith, Councillor Wershagen, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we are immediately down to the Boundary Success by 6 presentation by Ellen Strelayoff. How close am I? Strelayev? Strelayev. Ellen, come forward.
Actually, Angela Super will be our spokesperson.
Oh, after all that.
Oh, a delegation.
Good evening. We're going to introduce ourselves first.
I'm Ellen Squire, and I'm the coordinator of Success by 6. I'm the early learning coordinator, and I work at FIS, the Vicom Individual Services Society.
I'm Angela Suprev, and I'm here representing the lead partners of Success by 6, and my day-to-day job in the community is working for Grand Forks Credit Union.
I'm Gary Peters. I'm the team leader from the Ministry for Children and Family Development, which is that office just down there, and we're one of the lead partners provincially as well as locally for Success by 6.
So what we want to say, just to start off, is that we're not here for money. This time. What we'd like to do is give you a couple of sentences on the history of Success by 6. We know that we provided information in your packages, and tell you why we're here tonight, which really is to ask for, encourage, invite your participation and partnership in a family-friendly business initiative. So Success by 6 was started by the provincial government in 2003. So it's been here for almost a decade in the Boundary. And we've been one of the most active community areas in terms of fundraising for the early years and really raising awareness and understanding of how important to all of society are the first 6 years of a kid's life. The obvious is that the more supports we put in place for families and children, that there's a direct benefit for that child and their immediate family. But the statistics and research show that for every dollar we do contribute as taxpayers to those early interventions, whether that is to help a kid see better, hear better, speak better, to learn how to read better, to have social interaction and play more effectively, every one of those dollars can then be translated directly into savings for taxpayers, anywhere from $3 per dollar up to $11, depending on the nature of the intervention that would be required later if that child didn't have that support in their early years. So as the government rolled this out, what they did is they tried a different concept. They asked business to get to the table to help actually raise funds, so that we didn't just rely on social services and on taxpayers' dollars. And credit unions across the province stepped up as a lead partner to play that role. So that's been great. For the first 10 years, we've just really worked on, as I said, building what we call today the social fabric of our communities. We've seen lots of improvements and enhancements in how we work together across the boundary. The Boundary Family Centers were implemented in all of the schools across our area. We've had lots of programs and services, and you probably see the Success by Six logo on things like family swim night at the pool and library reading programs and all kinds of things like that. Today, what we really want to do, we believe the time is ripe and ready for us as a community all across the boundary, we're calling ourselves one sort of large community, to really get businesses on board with this as well. And the what's in it for me for a business to become a family-friendly business is really that consumers, whether they're local residents or they're visitors to the area, are going to be more likely to be attracted to the area, to spend their consumer dollars here, to revisit the businesses in the boundary. So family-friendly business under the Success by Six banner at this stage really would look like a partnership. And we're approaching first you as the Grand Forks City Council and the Boundary Country Regional Chamber of Commerce as the first two. And if we can obtain your support, we did obtain the Regional Chamber support last week, so that puts a little bit of pressure on you. And the partnership today would come in the form of you officially having your logo on all of the kinds of promotional materials and things that we would generate over the next year to 2 years. The Regional Chamber would be a key support in terms of rolling this out to businesses because, of course, they're approaching businesses, they're selling memberships. There are many ways that family-friendly business can actually take a public face across the boundary. For those of you that were at the last UBCM, there were materials there from Success by Six and other municipalities, and we have a couple of copies here, and we can scan them and send them. You could pass them around. But there are other municipalities, again, all across the province that have been trying to find ways to really get businesses to be thoughtful about this, how to make their business more approachable in a place where their local, as I say, their local citizens or visitors want to spend their dollars. In the boundary area, as we said, we're not asking for funds at this time. We see this more as an awareness-raising initiative. And one of the pieces that you received in your pre-reading materials was a brochure that it wouldn't go out in this form, but it was just to give you a mock-up of something, the kind of content that would be part of an initial program. The idea being that should we go out and see what happened?
That fire chief fell down the stairs.
Maybe a little nervous.
He's fine.
So the idea is that businesses would receive this information, possibly with something like the Regional Chamber membership, and then they have the opportunity to complete this checklist themselves. We were thoughtful when we put it together in terms of trying to find a way for businesses to participate initially without having to spend really any of their own money. So things like creating an inviting atmosphere where your staff smile and look at children or acknowledge them when they come into a business is something you can do without really any cost, right? Having a comfortable seating area may or may not be possible in some businesses, but again, it can be as simple as a chair in a corner for a mom to be entertaining a kid or to have them sit there with some coloring books or toys. Stroller parking, having children's artwork on display, having some kind of stickers or stamps for kids, those things go a long way. Having an accessible washroom or restroom, that's at the top of the list. And again, that one could incur some cost. But the idea here being that if we came up with a checklist together, if you agree to be our partner, and we have a little subcommittee then that works on these pieces, the idea is that there aren't big barriers for businesses to then receive their their decal that would go in their window and their nomination as a family-friendly business. Over the longer term, what we see is things like having a designation on a map marker on the Regional Chamber business locator. So if Grand Forks Credit Union has a family bathroom and we have a change table and a kids area and we give out stickers, we get an orange star. And if someone's coming to visit the area or a local person wants to see where those things are, they just click on the map. There are many other ideas. You know, we talked about instigating a family-friendly business award through the Regional Chamber of Commerce in partnership with us and with the other elected officials, you know, the municipalities and regional district. Hosting a launch or celebration next February to really raise awareness of this initiative, because that's the first BC stat for Family Day. And possibly, you know, many other possibilities, really. So at this stage, what I think I'm going to do is ask my colleagues if they have anything to add. One of the things I didn't mention about Success by Six is that the formal partner is Ministry for Children and Families, and also the United Ways. In our area, because we don't have a United Way, the Phoenix Foundation has been our partner the whole time and really supports all of these initiatives. So Chris Thompson would have been with us. She's our delegate from the Phoenix Foundation and just had a family matter tonight to take care of. So at this stage, what we are asking for is a formal partnership. We would like to encourage you to become champions and ambassadors with us of raising awareness of the initiative and putting your logo there. And one of the reasons for that is that it will also give more credibility to the fact that this is a serious initiative. It's not something off the side of a program that's going to come or go. We see that there could be longevity for this. And Success by Six has really operated over the years on the same principles that the Boundary Integrated Services partners have operated under. And that's been the group of people in the Boundary. Probably it's almost 20 years, 15 to 20 years worth, from the Child and Youth Committee to today, where these people in our geographic area have come together and laid aside their egos and their territories. They have used and shared their resources. Whoever had at the given time, put them on the table and used them to the best interest of everyone else. They have worked for pure collaboration and really just trying to find ways to do what's right and what's best for the Boundary at any given moment. And so we really see this as another opportunity for all of us that are in the business community or care about our businesses to encourage those same kinds of principles at work. Let's put our names forward and talk it up and really encourage our businesses to have one more reason to be thriving entrepreneurs and employers in the Boundary area.
The one thing that I'll just add is there was a neat comment that came out of our last meeting with the new Boundary Chamber of Commerce. And one person said, you know, that's right, you've hit on something, because as I travel with my young kids, I've learned that there are places to stop and there are places to not stop. And I figured that out. And so it would be fabulous if we, as a community, could be known across the lower half of the province as a place where people do want to stop for this very reason. So, and I just thought that spoke volumes to what this is all about.
Councillor Shagan.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for your presentation, and I would like to put a motion forward that we partner with Success by Six and the Boundary Family Friendly Businesses and move forward with this in a partnership role.
I'll second it.
Councillor Crog, discussion?
I was
Okay. I'll keep this fairly short here. Just in regards to what you said, in having small children and traveling, I want to just tell one little story. This past fall, I went to Toronto. I've always wanted to go to Toronto. My wife was there on business, so I made the flight over just to join her, and I brought the baby with me. She was about 9 months old at the time. And my wife was at her course. We went all through the business district of Toronto. We went to the Eaton Centre. We went to the ACC. We went to the Skydome CN Tower. I cannot, in Toronto, and in the poshest of posh areas in Toronto, find a place to change my daughter. Through Eaton Centre, all the way through Eaton Centre, I was stopping in Sears. I stopped at the Disney store, and I said, do you know where I can find a washroom to change the baby? She said, over there. I went over there. It was stairs. I couldn't take a stroller up. I couldn't leave my stroller right in the middle of the mall. I'll tell you right now that I will never go back to Toronto because of how unfriendly it is for children. I swear to God, I will not, because I was so turned off by the fact that I cannot take my child around with me to experience what I wanted to experience. That's why I think it's a great idea, and I think having the ability to show people where they can do the simplest of things, so you don't notice these things until you have a child. Just how important something and the simple, and the fact that you guys could do this, it's much appreciated.
Can I add something to that? Oh, sorry. Do I have to be in line too?
No, you're special.
Well, the seniors.
Well, I wanted to acknowledge Cher because when she was in her role as the manager of the local chamber, Ellen and I approached you,
Yes, I remember.
and she was not only encouraging about it, but the other thing that the connection you made for us that we've also never forgotten, is that everything that's good for the little children is really good for seniors, and that's another way that we can position it as we go forward. You know, if you want to have a ramp on the sidewalks, easy access onto the crosswalks, that's great for walkers and canes and wheelchairs. And all the things about having chairs in a place for a mom to sit down with a baby, it's great for a senior to have a place to sit. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. We talk about you other places, and then we come to meet you and we don't say it.
Councillor Smith and Councillor Crog.
I was happy to be invited to the meeting where we discussed this first, and I offered myself up to liaise with council and Success by Six, seeing as it really kind of plays in both to economic development and my role in Phoenix. So if it's the will of council, I would like to serve in that role.
Certainly. Okay. Councillor Crog.
Do we have any businesses that have attained the DECO or certification as of right now? Like I know that.
Started.
Okay, so it hasn't been started,
No.
but businesses have taken their own initiative. There's, Selkirk has its own little thing, the credit union. I spend hours watching that video. And the little hand chairs. No,
The chairs are comfortable, aren't they?
no, I've seen some businesses do that already. I was just wondering if the campaign had actually rolled out and people had been, I guess, certified for one of the better word.
Not yet.
We still have the early infant stimulation program, do we? Is that still a part of the ministry's programs?
That sounds
Development,
Yeah,
yeah.
infant development.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, further comment, council. Sounds like you got big support here, councillor.
Yeah, I just
Kendall.
think that it's a great initiative, and I certainly support the city getting behind it. I think it's great.
So the motion on the floor is partners, so you realize what you're letting yourselves in for here. That you may actually have to sit down and work out some details.
That's
Councillor
right.
Krog.
Yeah, just a question, because when I looked at it, it said ambassador and said that. So what would the expectation be like?
Yes, that's a good question. You're going to wear the red stickers on your chest, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Do I
here's...
get to play with the toys?
Well, there's a couple of things. After tonight, or maybe you're going to vote while we're here. I'm not really sure.
Yes,
but,
we are.
Okay, so we're hoping for good news, and that would be 2 key players in the boundary. Then what we would likely do is we want to approach the Christina Lake Chamber. They are already ready to talk to us. Discover Rock Creek, the Midway and Greenwood municipalities, Friends of Greenwood Society, Community Futures. I'm just looking at my list. We want to look for all the stakeholders we can that want to be proponents of this. And then what we would like to do is have a little bit of lead time to not become a committee-driven, we're always sitting down and talking about things, but to have a bit of an action plan that we would draft, present it to people and say, here's the first year of what we can see the action items look like. Everyone would tell me who their point person is to proof marketing materials, and if it's Gary who's going to be your liaison, then I'm going to give it to him and say, you've got 2 weeks, tell us or may, is there anything here? So what I'm saying is we'd have these pieces in place, and then as ambassadors, really the point would be that if somebody asks you in your communities or wherever you are, you can speak to it wholeheartedly and in an informed manner and really encourage the businesses to take it on. That's my view of the ambassador champion.
Okay.
Do either of you have something to add?
Champion is a good word.
Yeah.
There's no
Okay.
cloak. If you wanted an ambassador cloak, we can have those made. In fact, you've given me some ideas, and that's dangerous.
Councillor Vershagen, would you add to your motion that we accept the report as well?
Absolutely.
And we're ready for the question on this. All those in favor? We're partners.
Yay!
Thank you very much. Councillor Vershagen.
Just one quick comment after this vote has taken place. I suppose we probably should look at an inventory of our own public use buildings as to whether or not they meet the standards of
I'm sure
what
we'll
we're
get
offering. It's not to be hypocritical.
Our own
It's a
washrooms.
great idea. It's a great idea.
Okay.
We did the same thing, right? Because you can always improve, and you want to be someone who has your ducks in a row before your name's on the brochure.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next delegation is Vicom Design, Kettle Valley Express, Barbara Blyler and Brian McAndrews.
Well, Dad's passed you. Okay.
Greetings, Your Worship, Mayor Taylor, and councilor members. My name is Brian McAndrew, and this is my sales manager, Barbara Blyler, and we are from Vicom Design, Inc., formerly Beyond Graphics. As a local design and marketing company, I've been involved in tourism and actively promoting our area since 1999. Sometimes I even get contracts that give me unique opportunities to spread the word about our beautiful area a little bit further. I've also produced 28 glossy magazines over the past 10 years, including 3 local visitor guides and 5 years of GFI programs. We are here this evening, though, to introduce the Kettle Valley Express, which has been in the planning stages for the past 3 years now, and it will use the well-known Kettle Valley Rail Trail as a marketing theme. I would now like to turn things over to Barbara, who will share a little bit more about it with you.
Thank you, Brian. Good evening. The Kettle Valley Express will be a yearly publication to be released in January 2013 as a trail resource guide with a removable detailed pocket pull-out map and a companion website that will be launched at the time of publication. Our publication will be distributed throughout all of BC, Lower Alberta, the lower part of the United States West Coast, Vancouver International Airport, and the 2 busiest ferry terminals. Originally, we had planned to print about 30,000 copies of the magazine, with 10,000 extra copies of the pull-out map as for standalone purchases to be wrapped. But since the BC ferry terminals have come on board and Vancouver International Airport has come on board, we've had to adjust our numbers accordingly. The publication and the map are going to be available at Vancouver International Airport and the ferry terminals from May to October, which are their peak travel times. The magazine has been very well received as I've been traveling around our region, talking to people and looking for interest. And I've had comments from, wow, that's great, to what's taken so long, to where can I get mine? So that's very good feedback for us. Our updates on pre-orders for the Kettle Valley Express Adventure Trail Guide from the visitor information centers in the Chamber of Commerce can be seen on our website, which is vicomdesign.com. And you can also see an overview of the magazine on that website as well. So we're listing everyone. As we're operating as a transparent company, we believe that our advertisers should be able to know where their publication is going, and they should be able to find that answer very quickly. We've registered at gobrochures.com, and our orders have become very diverse. For example, we have an order from Camrose, Alberta already, and from BCAA. We also have 32 other pre-orders from throughout our province, throughout BC. We're really excited about our magazine. It's new. We have several other ideas that we're going to be implementing to increase our exposure for it in the very near future. And we have come to council tonight to ask for support through advertising or sponsorship. And we understand that a decision cannot be made until the forthcoming branding contract has been fulfilled. But we appreciate your time here this evening and wanted to thank you. Are there any questions?
Do you want to put a motion forward to accept the report first, then we can discuss it? Councillor Smith, Councillor O'Doherty on the floor. Can you explain the difference between your publication and Visitor's Choice?
There's quite a lot of differences. It's not a things to do type of a magazine. It's more of it's also a larger format magazine, something very close to the last visitor guides that I produced in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce for 3 years. The sample is being passed around. The fold-out map in the center, which is a 4-page pull-out map, or 4-page fold-out map. A fold-out map will be a pull-out map this time as well. Although like in that magazine there, Trans-Canada Trail was the main focus of the marketing theme on it, although it still did talk about all sorts of things through the towns and take you through the boundary area. I'm using the Kettle Valley Rail Trail idea as a marketing theme here to be able to bring us towards the boundary and give the boundary a location. Where are we, right? Because there's still a big question about where is Grand Forks and where are we? So this is an effort to be able to do that. there's quite a few differences. We're a totally different kind of publication. We're 100% locally owned and operated, privately run here in Grand Forks, and not a franchise as well. Everything gets done here in Grand Forks. The visitor choice is produced and done in Vancouver, not here, so that people that are working on that really don't know about the community. Since I'm a local person here and have been living here and promoting the boundary and love the place, don't intend to move, and would like to share that information with everybody else. I have a unique opportunity to be able to pull in all sorts of different information and specific things that wouldn't get noticed elsewhere.
Further questions? Councillor Wires.
Thank you, Brian and Barb. I recognize the work, and I have to agree with you. The insert maps were very, very popular, and people were asking.
I remember being in chamber there, at the office there when we were getting ready to produce that, and we were getting calls back then from Oregon, California, about the maps that had been in the previous issues too.
And we had calls for it after, so I'm glad to see you bringing it back. So will it be a full publication like this, or is it just specifically
right now
a trail guide?
I base a lot of things and projections on how this guide went, and if things go along with the way it looks like now, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if it's 100 pages. I'm getting advertisers that you would not normally see in this kind of magazine and don't see advertising at all. I've got quite a bit of support. We've got quite a bit of support already with a lot of enthusiasm. The realtors are really enjoying this right now and are quite enthused because having it reach Vancouver Airport and Tsawwassen and Schwartz Bay ferry terminals with 10,000 magazines and 10,000 standalone maps in the brochure side means that we're going to get exposure like we've never gotten before.
So have you set your advertising fees?
I have set my advertising fee, and all the rates were based on not quite this amount of expense for exposure and distribution, but the extra advertising that has been coming around and the real good response that we're getting for it, and the necessity to be able to make this work that way, I went ahead to secure that racking, the racking. Any of my extra profit that would go into building the company, if necessary, will go into making this happen. The more advertisers that I can get, the more we can ensure this. Also, the same people that cover the racking for Vancouver Airport and the ferries, they cover the racking for about half of the western U.S., right? Which means down in L.A. and stuff like that. You want to put stuff in brochure racks down there, you contact this company, they'll get it to you. That means extra production and extra racking fees. It's a $250 a month racking fee for 6 months, $250 each month for 6 months to be in Vancouver Airport, and it's so there's that, and then the brochures are about $85 a month for 6 months. So
Councillor Smith and Councillor Wershagen.
Councillor Roach, I can go first. I got to remember what I was going to say.
I think I'm going to have the same problem here. The question I have, and I appreciate everything you're doing here, I think the more the merrier, the more exposure we get through different media outlets, more magazines, whatever the case may be, is good for Grand Forks and it's good for the area. You ran through a laundry list of locations that your magazine will be racked. And I don't know if I missed it or you didn't say it. Is it going to be racked at the visitor center?
Yes. Visitor centers and chambers of commerce. By registering with gobrochures.com, it's a site that visitor centers and chambers can log on to, and they can pre-order for next year's visitor guides and publications. So we registered our profile with them, and since then we've had 34 pre-orders, everywhere from Lake Country and Kelowna to the Coquihalla Visitor Center, Prince George, Squamish, Pemberton, I mean, all over the place. And I brought the list, and I do have them highlighted if anybody's interested in looking through our pages.
Councillor Smith.
My question was, what sort of timeline are you looking at with respect to getting some kind of a decision by council on whether or not we want to advertise.
Well,
when would these things be rolling out?
Our deadline for advertising is September the 15th.
Okay.
We do have a little bit of leeway. We'd like to hold firm to the 15th if we can, but we understand that, sometimes people have to work through things and you have to come to a decision, and that might take a little bit longer. We go to...
A big thing was keeping her off the road after that time, because in the wintertime, you don't want to go on the road, so...
Okay. Councils. So, further feedback, Councillor Smith?
I suppose, so you're waiting for the, like you indicated about waiting for the branding exercise to take place.
Well, we understood that if you were making a decision, then this branding was announced in the paper after we submitted to come in here. And then I realized, well, if you guys are looking at branding, there's no way you're going to be making any decisions to put anything in advertising or spend until that branding thing was finished and taken care of. So we were sort of caught in the middle of this kind of thing of understanding. So we decided to present first and let you guys know. And then if this branding contract gets resolved and happens, hopefully we'll have enough time to be able to get you in. Whether or not, if this branding contract comes up, and I'm sure going to apply for it, I'll go for it, but that's another situation altogether. This is just about the advertising, and I understand the situation where the council is. If this is upcoming, then it wouldn't be likely that we would get an answer here. I mean, I might be wrong. You guys might want to go in on it and then say, okay, when we get branded, let's go in. But
okay, so then further question is, okay, so you need a commitment by September 15th. When would you need, say, our branding logo or tagline? When would you need that by?
What we will be sending the print the first week of December.
Okay.
So it has to be done before.
Quite a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Council, you ready for the motion here? We're simply accepting this with the information that's been shared with us this evening. And I think we've given you some reasonable feedback. It looks like a fairly supportive group. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, the next item of business is a recommendation for consideration zoning bylaw and the